All right, we are at day 4 of my solo trip in Danang, Vietnam. Day 3 did not disappoint. My Vietnamese coffee was delicious, but when I tell you, I got 2 hours of sleep and I had my coffee at 6:30 in the morning. That lets you know how intense and how strong that coffee was, and I didn't even finish it. Did a little bit of vintage shopping at this place called Hannah 34. It was right across the street from the eyelash salon. Really beautiful pieces. And I kind of just walked around the city a little bit. Came back, just lounged by the pool, had a cocktail, and got ready for the evening. But before we get into the evening, I had a wonderful time with one of the expats, Black expats here that I met on a WhatsApp group, and we worked out the gym together. Just a really sweet soul. I told myself that I would be open to meeting other Black solo travelers, whether it was for a brief stint like me or whether they have actually relocated their entire life, because it is something that's intriguing to me. I am flirting with the idea of leaving the US, even if it's just maybe a couple months out of the year, and experiencing other cultures and letting California be home base. And we actually linked up later in the evening to go to Dragon's Bridge, which is a very popular tourist site. On the weekends, they have a fireworks show, and on the bridge, it's actually like a dragon that kind of is like entwined in the bridge. And at night, the dragon comes to life. It breathes actual fire, it spews water, it's the whole thing. So crowded, so congested, but lots of energy, really, really fun. So we had the pleasure of having dinner together and really just chatting about her experience. There's just a desire to cultivate community in these places that she's been traveling. And so it was good to connect on that level, because it can be isolating out here. You know, I'm here by myself and I'm only here for a week. So I cannot imagine being here for months or a year in a foreign place where you don't see people that look like you. It's a different language. And so what I've been very intentional about in the States is cultivating community, which is the transitions in my life. And that's really dear to my heart. So even if I'm traveling, I'm going to look up who's around this area. So shout out to brothers and sisters, the WhatsApp group. Do I envision myself living in Vietnam? Probably not, but this is a very touristy area. There's places like Hanoi, which is more low key, more community feeling amongst the natives. And then there's Hoi An, which is like an ancient city. And I mean, there's so many other places. But I'm just thankful. I'm here to learn. I'm here to expand. That's what it's all about. That's what life is about. Not staying stagnant. So today I'm going to go on a tour, get away from the city. I'm going to go into the mountains. So I'm going to Marble Mountain, visit some temples, which I could really use right now, some grounding, some zen, get my nature on, and then I'm just going to free flow today. I want to get some souvenirs. There's an event happening tonight, honey, where the people are getting out for some live music. So we'll see. I will keep you tuned along the way.
So I got picked up from my hotel, and I am going with a group of about 6 people to Marble Mountain.
Yes. So about the first place we go today is Marble Mountain. So the whole area will make from marble.
So we're going to keep this short and sweet because I am starved. My excursion to Sun Tra Peninsula, I went to Marble Mountain, And then also I went to a pagoda to see the Lady Buddha. Wonderful, beautiful. I mean, ancient culture, so many things. I'll get into that later, probably in tomorrow's reflection. But the heat, it was probably 92, 93 degrees with the 80+% of humidity. When I tell you, the folks that I was with, we were all done after a couple hours. We were like, we don't have no more. We're tapping out. I mean, drenched, just zapped by the sun. So I'm about to get into this wonderful meal of banh mi and french fries. I didn't even have the energy to go walk somewhere, so I ordered it through Grab. And a whole banh mi sandwich and fries was how much? $4 with delivery. Let's have a moment of gratitude.
I used to think the glow was makeup, something I had to earn, but it's water in the morning and letting my body learn. This clean skin, soft light, this rest that shows in my eyes. This is how I hold my shoulders when I stop living rushed. I don't chase it, I make space for it. I come back to myself.
All right, we are at day 5 in Vietnam. I am coming live, well, not live, from Hoi An, the ancient city. I'm going to do a coconut boat ride in a little bit. We're about 94 degrees, y'all. Barely holding on. But just some reflections from yesterday's excursion. I went to Central Peninsula to Marble Mountain, which is a very sacred place where a lot of monks will go and they will spend time in prayer and meditation. It was a wonderful tour and mostly Buddhist, but there are also spaces for Taoists and Hindus because the reigning king at that time believed like there was truth in all faiths. And there was one point where we were in this cave that was originally closed off. It was an enclosed cave, but when we were in there, it was an opening, and I learned that that is because of the war, and the U.S. bombed the cave, and so now that there was opening, and I was the only American in the group, and I found myself pretty grieved. I felt guilt, and it was actually a new feeling for me. You know, you hear a lot about, just being honest, white guilt when it comes to the enslavement of Africans in the United States, but to kind of be on that side and have American guilt based off of what the country that I live in did was it was kind of heavy, especially because it was such a beautiful sacred place. This was a place for people to come and pray, to worship, to meditate, to be at peace, and to specifically target that. Yeah, I had to sit with that, and I just listened and I observed and I just held a space for those who had lost their lives and just honored the sacred place that I was in. So, just a little nugget, daily nuggets while in Vietnam. All right, y'all. I'll be back.
decided to get some pants custom made for me at CC with these wonderful ladies that were just so sweet and excellent at what they did. So this is the finished product. I had the fabric already and they designed everything according to my specs. It fit absolutely perfect. I stayed around Hoi An for about 6 hours exploring the city while these were getting made, and I was so happy. After all the walking I did, I decided to get my foot massage with this lovely young woman here. So she took me to her salon and I actually got a manicure as well. They did a pretty solid job.
Well, hello everyone. This is a recap of day 5 in Danang, Vietnam. I'm coming to you with a beautiful sunrise because why not? You can see the beach. It's completely packed, but I mean, understandably so. So yesterday I went to the ancient city of Hoi An in Vietnam, and it was a nice break from the busyness of the beach and where my hotel is, where it's just nonstop. I mean, at 2 in the morning, you hear cars going back and forth down the street. So it was good. I got on a bike and got to see the countryside. It was absolutely beautiful. It really reminded me of when I went to Uganda. Just the buildings, the houses were very similar, and even the smells, like the burning of the trash, took me back to Uganda, and I missed it. It's so interesting how our senses have memories built into them. But the people of Hoi An are very kind and gentle. And I realized, though I'm a city girl from LA, I like calm. I like lushness. I like landscape. I need to be by plants. I need to be able to regulate my nervous system. So while I love this and it's great, I'm a nature girly at the end of the day, and I have to be able to bring it down a little bit. So the coconut boat experience was wonderful. My tour guide was a hoot and a holler, and it was magical. Very, very hot, and I would say I passed out again after my time in Hoi An just because it's just so depleting. Jin Chao.
So on this day, I just decided to luxuriate by the pool after a long day at Hoi An and just soak in the sun. I decided to take a risk and try Jamaican food, yes, Jamaican food, at this spot that I heard pretty good reviews about. And let me tell you guys, the food did not disappoint. Everything was on point. I would definitely go back and get this again. So unfortunately, my manicure was not lasting, so I decided to get another one at the actual hotel. And I just love the views. Look at that. Beautiful views as you're getting your nails done. This was so much better. I paid a little bit more than what I would have liked to, but it was a nice touch with the fruit and the tea. So I've been hearing some really good stuff about night markets, so I decided to hit one up. So this is a great place to visit if you want to get some really cool souvenirs, get some good food, some fresh juice, and really just explore the night. It was really, really packed, as you can see. I didn't get anything because I had already got so many souvenirs prior, but it was just a good experience to explore.
All right, y'all, we made it to the last full day in Danang, Vietnam. I must say that went by pretty quickly. Yesterday was a day of relaxation. I have been moving and grooving for the past 6 days. So yesterday was rest. And one little nugget that I gleaned was how solo travel really forces you to get out your comfort zone and to open up and meet new people. And I had the privilege of having breakfast with a fellow Californian in the LA greater area, and it was quite delightful. And I must say, had I been traveling with someone else, more than likely, I probably would have been in my comfort zone and wouldn't have stretched myself to talk to somebody else. So I appreciate that. And that's when you get to know more about yourself. You get to learn about other people, other people's culture. Ended up linking up again for fresh squeezed cold pressed juices in the evening time on the beach, and talked about a myriad of things, including healthcare and how there's such a disparity with healthcare in the US, and this notion of, I think it's called medicinal tourism, where you travel to get the help and the medical treatments that you need because the US is just so expensive. We're both independent contractors. We work for ourselves. And so the notion of paying healthcare premiums can be quite daunting. I'm sure some of you guys understand the struggle, but I've actually flirted with the idea of traveling abroad. I have some hip issues and I don't want to get surgery again. And so look into some things, some more regenerative treatment. So it's a whole other world out there. But anywho, I'm going to get back to my pool day. Again, soaking up my last day before I head home. So thanks for rocking with your girl.
And yes, the last full day, I was back at the pool reading my book and taking it all in. I heard amazing things about this Bikini Bottom place, and I'm obsessed with burgers. So naturally, I had to check it out for myself. It was really packed in there, so I'm guessing it was a good sign that the food might be pretty good. I got just a cheeseburger, fries, and a watermelon drink. All right, the day was upon me for my tattoo. I had actually researched this place online, and it's an award-winning tattoo shop. I sent them my design. They let me know it was only going to be $30, and we went to work. And that was a wrap for my trip, y'all. It was all over after that.
All right, I'm back. This is the last day that I'm in Southeast Asia. I am actually making my transit back home and just wanted to come by and talk about reflections from my last full day in Vietnam. Another low key day, a day of reflection and rest. Actually decided to get a tattoo in Vietnam, primarily because it was so inexpensive. Don't worry, I did my homework. I had come up with this concept for a tattoo probably last year. I designed it, and to me, it was just a very great way to culminate this trip. I'm so proud of myself for taking this journey alone, solo. Something that I was terrified of doing before, and I did it. And it's already about to be behind me, and I'm already thinking about my next trip. Glad to have showed up for myself and be open to new experiences, a different culture, and just see what I was made of. And so this tattoo represents, it's based off of alchemy. So taking all these different resources, all these different things in your life for me, and bringing them together and making magic and making something beautiful. And it also represents refinement and evolution and transformation. And that's what this trip was about. So I really can't wait for the next. Again, thanks for riding with your girl, and I'll catch y'all later.